How's it going? This is Hoiman, and today we're taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts Cure Blossom figure. So I will say right now, this is my favourite character from the entire series, so forgive me if I do sound a bit biased in this review, but it's pretty much this character and this figure is what got me into the wonderful Precure series. But moving on, the packaging has a nice window to see the whole figure inside. And then the packaging itself has a nice pink colour scheme. Looks really nice. And then the window extends to the top. And then the side just have some nice flowery patterns. Same for the other side. Legal stuff for the bottom. And on the back you have various pictures of the figure. And then it also advertises Cure Marine as well. And to open the box, just lift open the side flap and lift open the front cover. And there's the figure all together with her accessories. So here's the actual figure itself, and this is actually quite an early figure in the line, so some of the joints and proportions can look a bit off from certain angles, but for the most part it's still a very nice figure. So taking a closer look at the face, I feel that they really captured the likeness of the character. Looks pretty much just like her from pretty much all angles. And then moving on to the hair, which is probably the most eye-catching part, but also the figure's probably most downside, which I'll get to in a bit. But the hair for the most part is very nicely sculpted. You have the matte pink, but it's also got lighter and darker tones to really bring out the sculpt and strands of the hair. Looks really nice for the most part. And because it's an older figure, there is a bit of a seam here, which looks a bit off. Does detract from it, but isn't super noticeable. Then moving down to her outfit, you have the nice ribbon with the glossy finish for the green heart. Looks really nice. And then the shoulders are nicely sculpted as well, down to the cuffs. Nice flowery pattern. But I will say, for mine unfortunately, this figure came with two left forearm pieces. So you can see how the petal is on the outside. And it's supposed to be on the outside here as well, but it's actually on the inside. And that's because, like I already said, it's two left arms. So there's a bit of a quality control issue there. And it's a bit unfortunate, but it doesn't really detract from the figure too much since it's quite a small detail, but it's just something to point out. And then moving down to her skirt, you can see it's nicely sculpted, has a nice whiter wash over the pink to really make the details stand out. And then for the back you have the straps as well, it's nicely sculpted. And moving down to her boots, again, very simple, but very clean and nicely sculpted for the most part. And then you have like kind of a metallic finish for the pink ends as well. So for articulation, the neck is on a single ball joint. So she can look down about that much and then look up that much. She can tilt her head side to side as well as twist. And now we come to the hair, which is connected by a ball joint. So you can move it up and down and then also swivel it around. And this is what I meant by the downside to the hair, is that because it's so large, it's one solid piece and that makes it really heavy. So a lot of the time she kind of ends up looking up because of the weight. And if you tilt her head to the side, it also does weigh down the figure. And because the hair is so heavy and the fact that she's wearing high heels, it does make the figure really difficult to stand on her own. So she just kind of fall back and not really make it possible to stand without the display stand. But moving on, the shoulder is connected by a ball joint into the socket, and it's actually quite a long joint. So it does look a bit out of proportion, but because you have the separate shoulder piece here, you can hide the gap. But for the most part, she can move her arm around the torso like so, and it is on a hinge, so you can bring her arm out to the side. And another downside of this figure is that the shoulder joints seem to be quite loose, So in certain poses, they seem to just drop down, so that can make posing a bit difficult. But moving on, she can move her arms forward, all the way to the back as well, and then she does have the bicep swivel. And like I already mentioned, the shoulder is on a separate piece, so you can move that around however you like. But she does have the single jointed elbow, get quite a lot of range from it. And then she has the ball jointed wrists. For her torso, it's a single ball joint, so she can lean forward about that much, lean back that much, and tilt side to side very slightly, and also twist as well. And then with the skirt, although it's a solid piece, the way it's sculpted is really wide, so it allows for a lot of range of motion in her legs. So first off, she does have a ball joint for her waist, so you can move her waist around however you like, and then also twist. And then the hips themselves are on ball joints, so she can kick about that far to the side, which is a lot. Kick forward about that much, kick back that much, and then she does have the thigh swivel. And then she also has single jointed knees, get quite a lot of range from that. And then finally she has the ball jointed ankles, so you can go back that much, forward that much, you can tilt side to side as well as twist. So although she's an older figure, she still retains all the articulation you'd expect the Figuarts to have. But the only downside to what I already mentioned is that the hair is really heavy, so it kind of makes her difficult to stand on her own. And the shoulder joints are quite loose, so it can make posing a bit difficult. And then there's the fact that there's the quality control as well with the forearms, so that's just something to keep in mind of. But that's the figure. Let's take a look at the accessories. So for faces, she comes with a default smiling face, she comes with a happy smiling face, and then finally an angry shouting face. And then another downside to the figure is that because she's an older figure, to swap out the face is quite difficult. It's quite difficult to pull the front hair piece off. And because of these small curlies here, it does make it very fragile. They are a softer material, but I do always fear that because you have to forcefully pull out the hair quite a bit, I do fear on breaking these, so you just have to be extra careful of those. For hands, she comes with a pair of open palmed hands, 2 fists, 2 different styled pointing hands, 1 posing hand, another open palmed posing hand, and then finally a hand to hold her weapon. So here's the actual weapon, and although it's very small, it's really well sculpted and detailed. And then the paintwork is very clean for the most part. And then at the tip is actually a translucent pink piece, so it looks really nice. And then this piece here is actually transparent as well with all the colours inside. And it can even swivel as well, just like it does in the show. So a very nicely well made weapon. And then she also comes with her Precure box. Very small but very well detailed. And then she also comes with a fairy, again very nicely sculpted and detailed. And then she does have the ball joint for the head, so you can move her head about like so. And then she does also come with this extra neck piece, which is the same joint, but it just doesn't have the hinge. And this is so that it can help support her head with the heavy hair. But I still feel that it still requires a stand to stand the figure up properly though, but it's nice that they included this. And then finally she comes with a display base. So it does have her name, and then also some flowery patterns. And then it comes with the stand itself as well. And like I already mentioned, this figure pretty much needs it in order to stand, so it's very well appreciated that it comes with a stand. So my final thoughts are, although she's an older figure, expect that some joints and proportions do look a bit off, and like I already mentioned, there's a bit of a quality issue with the forearm, and then the issue with the loose shoulder joints and the weight of her hair makes it difficult to stand. There are quite a few negative points about this figure, but overall I'd say this is still a very nice looking figure. It's very well sculpted, very well detailed and painted, good range of accessories, and overall it's a very good representation of the character. So if you're a fan of the character or the show, then I highly recommend getting this figure. But that's my review. Thank you for watching and enjoy some pictures.